baby! Woo! Big love, baby! Woo! Here, man. It got a little crazy out there, but we made it through.
We're gonna keep stacking the day, so see you in the championship.
Let's go!
June 17th wasn't just another game, it was personal. The Indiana Fever had a score to settle. Rewind to May 30th, when J.C. Sheldon and the Connecticut Sun left Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson laid out on the court with no consequences. No flagrant calls, no ejections, just silence. But the Fever didn't forget. So when Sheldon went too far again this time, poking Caitlin Clark directly in the eye during the rematch, everything changed? That cheap shot lit a fire. And what happened next? Let's just say it sent a message loud and clear. You don't mess with Clark or her crew. Enter Sophie Cunningham, aka Spicy Sophie. She wasn't about to let it slide. What she did next might just be the most satisfying flagrant.
It was chippy the last time these two teams faced off too. Sophie Cunningham suffered her ankle injury in that game, but in addition to that, she actually had part of her front tooth knocked out. She made contact with J.C. Sheldon as Caitlin Clark knocks down the triple.
But what people don't talk about enough is how hard you have to work to be able to be that good. All the hours that she's spent perfecting her craft.
Retreating, firing and hitting.
So she can do that.
On Indiana arguing the call.
I mean, step back, you're late. She almost looks you in the eye.
And foul you've ever seen, pure payback. Served hot and fast. If you ride for the Fever, drop a CC and Spicy Sophie in the comments. Let's go. Ask Chachi. Picture this, May 30th. Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sunand. Everything went downhill fast for the Fever. What started as a routine WNBA matchup quickly spiraled into something else entirely. The game opened like any other.
Opening tip.
Can we talk about the physicality for a second? Two players on the Indiana Fever got injured last night by the same player on the Connecticut Sun, and that was J.C. Sheldon. And I tweeted about it. She was playing so reckless. I'm fine with players playing aggressive, but there is a thin line between playing aggressive and playing reckless. When you dive for a ball, you don't land on somebody's leg. She landed on top of Sydney Colson's leg, and her leg got stuck and literally twisted around. Both injuries, both Sydney Colson and Sophie Cunningham, were contact injuries.
Two teams battling for position, but the Sun brought a level of physicality that went way beyond aggressive play. It wasn't just intense, it was reckless. From the opening tip, the tension was thick, and it didn't take long before things turned downright dangerous. They weren't just injuries, they were contact injuries, and they raised eyebrows immediately. Sophie Cunningham went down first after what looked like a deliberate hit. The contact was heavyweight.
They weren't non-contact. They weren't ACLs, they weren't Achilles, they were contact injuries caused by the same player. And this kind of physicality that the WNBA they brag about. They say it's always been a physical league. That's just the heart of the It's not good basketball. And we've seen so many injuries. Paige Becker's out with a concussion. Rakia Jackson was out with a concussion. All of these injuries are contact plays. We've seen Caitlin Clark last year get chucked to the ground. We saw Angel Reese get clothesline chucked to the ground. The players continue to do it because the refs are allowing them. Why wouldn't you keep doing it if you're
too heavy for a routine basketball play? Then came Sydney Colson, taken out in another questionable collision that had fans, players, and commentators all asking the same thing. What exactly was going on out there? And right at the center of both incidents, J.C. Sheldon. Her overly aggressive style wasn't just physical, it was the kind of play that makes your blood boil. They weren't just injuries, they were contact injuries, and they raised eyebrows immediately.
Her mortal enemy took out a player. J.C. Sheldon. Caitlin Clark's mortal enemy. J.C. Sheldon.
The referee.
Sophie Cunningham went down first after what looked like a deliberate hit. The contact was way too heavy for a routine basketball play. Then came Sydney Colson, taken out in another questionable collision that had fans, players, and commentators all asking the same thing. What exactly was going on out there? And right at the center of both incidents, J.C. Sheldon. Her overly aggressive style wasn't just physical, it was the kind of play that makes your blood boil. Asterisk. On that chaotic May 30th matchup, it felt like the referees were watching a completely different game. Hard fouls, no whistles, dangerous plays ignored. It was like the officials decided to let everything slide.
This is a reckless play. This is reckless. It is dangerous. And this angle makes it look even worse. It is dangerous. Like, Sid Colson is between her and the ball. Sid Colson is in fact between J.C. Sheldon and the ball, and she dives through her knee. It wasn't even called as a foul. It wasn't even called as a foul.
At Dand, the consequences were brutal. Caitlin Clark had to stand by and watch as her teammates took hit after hit, while JC Sheldon walked away without even a warning. The frustration boiled over with every possession. Despite fighting tooth and nail, the Fever narrowly lost 85-83. But the real loss wasn't on the scoreboard. It was losing two key players, Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson, two injuries that could have easily been avoided if the game had been properly officiated. Their absence would loom large in the games to come. You could see it in Caitlin Clark's eyes after that May 30th loss to Fire. The focus, the grudge, the way she stared down JC Sheldon in the handshake line. The edge in her voice during the post-game interview, it was crystal clear. This wasn't over, not even close. The Fever weren't just going to remember the final score.
She just texts me. She never texts me during the game.
All right. Here is Clark splashing home a three from way downtown. Kelly escorting her back to the bench.
JC Sheldon is there with her hand in her face.
They were going to remember the injuries, the cheap shots, and the officials who let it all slide. So when June 17th finally rolled around, you knew the rematch was about more than basketball. Clark was back from her quad injury, fresh off a statement win against the then undefeated New York Liberty. This was only her second game after being sidelined for 3 weeks, but you could tell she hadn't forgotten anything. The game tips off, and
and Caitlin Clark are talking to the official. They're both going at it saying, hey, oh, there's a little extra right there. Uh-oh. And Marina steps in to protect JC.
away, that familiar tension fills the air. JC Sheldon is on Caitlin Clark like it's personal, face guarding her with relentless pressure, getting way too close for comfort. She's shadowing every move, bumping Clark on every screen, playing with that gritty, borderline dirty edge that turns basketball from competitive to chaotic. It's the same aggressive style that took out Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson just weeks earlier. And now, it's back on full display. Everyone in the arena can feel that something's coming. The energy is heavy, the crowd's holding its breath, and all eyes are on what happens next. Ask Chet. The game tips off, and right away, that familiar tension
She decks Clark, tempers flaring on both sides.
Fills the air. JC Sheldon is on Caitlin Clark like it's personal, face guarding her with relentless pressure, getting way too close for comfort. She's shadowing every move, bumping Clark on every screen, playing with that gritty, borderline dirty edge that turns basketball from competitive to chaotic. It's the same aggressive style that took out Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson just weeks earlier. And now, it's back on full display. Everyone in the arena can feel that something's coming. The energy is heavy, the crowd's holding its breath, and all eyes are on what happens next. The game tips off, and right away, that familiar tension fills the air. JC Sheldon is on Caitlin Clark like it's personal, face guarding her with relentless pressure, getting way too close for comfort. She's
I mean, is that displacement? I think it is.
Oh, and Marina Mabry's going to get ejected. If the officials saw that, Marina Mabry is going to get ejected.
Well, they're going to go and look at it. Look at Mabry. She's got a scar on one side, a scratch on one side of her face, a scratch on the other side. It's not from the game today. I asked her about it. She's always in the mix. There's a lot of contact here. There's a scrape across the face. That's what Clark didn't like.
shadowing every move, bumping Clark on every screen, playing with that gritty, borderline dirty edge that turns basketball from competitive to chaotic. It's the same aggressive style that took out Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Colson just weeks earlier. And now, it's back on full display. Everyone in the arena can feel that something's coming. The energy is heavy, the crowd's holding its breath, and all eyes are on what happens next. Clark didn't like it, and who could blame her? She stood there clutching her eye, clearly the victim of a dangerous play. The arena buzzed with confusion and frustration, fans pointing to the replay screens that showed exactly what happened. A blatant eye poke, and yet, the refs didn't blow the whistle on the foul. They hit Clark with a technical foul. For defending herself, she had just dropped 32 points in her first game back from injury, and now she was being punished for reacting to the same reckless player, who had already taken out two of her teammates weeks earlier. The call made zero sense to anyone watching. It felt like the refs were sending a dangerous message. Take a cheap shot at Caitlin Clark, and if she dares to respond, she's the one who will pay.
Take another look as we try to figure out what exactly went down. So you see her get hit in the face. JC Sheldon doesn't like that, and everybody on the team doesn't like it. Marina, trying to have her teammates back, pushes her down. You see a little bit of drama all the way around. Cena, Charles, Clark, and Mabry, they received technical fouls. Sheldon received a flagrant one foul.
Pay the price. But that eye poke, that was just the beginning. because Marina Mabrey
That's what Clark didn't like. And then Mabry came in with a bump.
Yeah, Mabry's day is almost assuredly going to be done. But both teams
saw everything go down, and what she did next would take things to a whole new level. Right after Caitlin Clark gets hit with that bogus technical foul, Marina Mabrey steps in and, not in the way anyone expected, with
brought her down. But with that, you guys, JC Sheldon got up and she was ready to go. So as you guys can see in this video, a whole scuffle breaks out. Sophie and JC are going after it. Both teams are running over, trying to break it up. It kind of goes into the fan section a little bit.